Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Webb.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity is going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say hey, Webb.
Hello. What's up, Smitt?
What's up, buddy? I'm Steve. I'm Smitt. That's Webb. We are the Wager Makers. This is the Wager Maker Podcast. We had to apologize for having to take a little break. We got a little hurricane going on up there in New Jersey, Webb.
Yeah, man. We hadn't had power for like 4 days, something like that, Tuesday through Friday. It was ponderous, man. I don't know how you can't figure out how to get another pole or plug something else in. I don't understand. It just goes in line with this fucking virus. I got to wear a mask. Why should I have? What do I need power for at this point anyway? So fuck it.
Brutal. It wasn't just you guys, man. I know big, large portions of New Jersey were without power for a long time, 3, 4, 5 days, stuff like that. I
saw something that they originally told me it wasn't going to come on till yesterday, and then, which was crazy. I would have, I don't know, you would have been reading about me on the news. Something would have went down. But people didn't have it until I saw something on the news yesterday. Even some places in Connecticut and stuff didn't have it until I think yesterday. And even some people I work with down in, a little bit further south, just northern Ocean County had it. And then it went out again, which is I would have really been doing some crazy shit if it came back on and then went off. So and big ups to Nick Perrone and Johnny Morgan. They both came through with a generator for me and a big couple tanks of gas. Make sure the beer was cold. At one point, Nick gave me a window unit. I had AC, I had cable, I had Wi-Fi, I didn't need nothing. I was off the grid, Smith. I didn't need anything. I didn't fuck everybody. I was hanging out, drinking cold beer and watching shit. Devin was on her iPad. Everything was copacetic.
Everything was cool at that point.
Yeah, right.
That was here comes Wager Maker Express coming through.
Yeah. Right
so
on time.
what was this storm was a stupid ass fucking. What was the name of this? It looked like Isaiah, but when they would say it would have like 8 syllables in it.
Yeah, it was like Isaias.
Yeah, it was like an extra syllable in there.
It was a hard E. Like I looked it up. It was like triple E, triple capital letter E hyphen IA hyphen S hyphen ASS. Isaias.
Sweet.
Fuck it. That's all. Yeah. That make it harder to pronounce. What's the matter with fucking Eric?
Who comes up with the names for these?
I don't know. It does go in order, like alphabetical order.
Yeah.
I don't know why it has to be. We love every gender in every country. Why's it got to be like Spanish? Why can't it just be Eric or Edward?
Like it started with an I, right? It starts with an I.
No, E. Oh, it did start with an I. It did start with an I, right? So I guess it was I, right? But it was pronounced E. Or I guess why couldn't it be Ivan or whatever?
Isaac.
Right, idiot.
All right. So, Webb, this is Wager Maker Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Wager Maker Podcast number 58. This is easy for me. This is in my wheelhouse, but I'll let you take number 58 from here.
Yeah, I'm a little down. I didn't really do too much on this. Obviously, things have been a little chaotic. So I'm thinking 58 is Wilbur Marshall, and then I think Derek Thomas might have been a 58. So that's kind of what I know where you're going to head. So I didn't really have too much going on here. But I remember I liked the 46 defense of Wilbur Marshall with the Bears with that number 58 was kind of cool looking. So that would be my pick probably.
Certainly fine players. We talked a lot about Lawrence Taylor a couple weeks ago, changing the game. Derek Thomas certainly was coming off the edge, badass edge rusher.
Tragic death.
Wilbur Marshall, really explosive outside linebacker, one of the best from one of the best defenses ever play. But for me, this is a no-brainer. Grew up with this dude, one of my favorite. This might be one of my. I talked about me thinking that Lawrence Taylor is the best player to ever play the game. This guy is up there in my top 5 of favorite players ever to play the game. And that's the man in the middle for the Steelers, the Iron Curtain, Jack Lambert. The man is a beast. Classic, all-time Hall of Famer, 4-time Super Bowls. Just the baddest man on the field when he was out there, especially when he was playing the Cowboys. Baddest man on the field.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. He was good. He was definitely old school football. That's for sure. But yeah, whatever with that.
So you'd be pissed because they beat the Cowboys twice in the Super Bowl. It's all right.
Cowboys beat them a couple times too. That's all right. I think there's 2 Eagles.
I don't think so.
They definitely beat them once.
I mean, we talking about they beat it like with the Neil O'Donnell. You talking about the Neil O'Donnell Steelers? That don't count.
I thought the Steelers then. So if the Steelers would have won that would have been the Steelers.
That's not the Steelers we're talking about here. We're talking about the fucking steel curtain. We're talking about the team in the 70s grew up team in a decade.
And the Cowboys beat them once.
No, they did not. Did not. They beat the Neil O'Donnell Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, easily. Yeah,
somebody beat the Danny White Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, they were good too, though. Yeah, Danny White Cowboys were good too.
Yeah, so you said
they were.
All right. Well, we'll move on. We'll move on from this because we're not going to get some things. You're stubborn. You're stubborn, Webb.
You won't even say who took over for Terry Bradshaw. You probably who? Bobby Brister? No, it couldn't have been Bobby Brister. It had to be number
Malone. Did Mark Malone come in there at one point? I think Mark Malone.
Go ahead. That's not forgettable.
Bobby Brister was a little.
I can't believe I didn't remember Mark Malone.
Hey, well, that's my point. That's my point.
You remember Danny White. That's my point. You remember every fucking Cowboy quarterback there ever was.
I could run down a bunch of fucking Steeler quarterbacks. What you want from me? I'm just telling you.
You're talking about who took over for Terry Bradshaw.
Mark Malone. I'm telling you.
Look, you didn't say definitively. You said, "Oh, maybe it was Mark Malone." All right.
Look at. I'm telling you, Mark Malone.
All right.
I think.
Right. Exactly.
Google real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we need the fucking intern again.
Well, I have a praises. Punter for 12 years that turned into a quarterback. It was easy. It was easy for the pick.
Yeah, how many? Yeah, NFC Championship. How many times?
Oh, Danny White sucks. All right, he's a punter. He's the punter.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Well, we got some news anyway. Look, we got bubble playing. We got NHL playoffs going on. We got Major League Baseball. Excited about that, but we'll talk about a little bit about this college football thing first. Big news yesterday. Pac-12 and Big Ten, they're out, Webb. They're out. But the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC, they're still in.
So my question is, so at Pac-10, no one cares. There's a couple also rans in there. I mean, this year, Oregon would have been pretty good. And maybe USC, they would have been okay. I mean, they wouldn't have been the four, they would something decent to bet on at 11:30 or whatever, 10:30, 11 o'clock on Saturday nights. But no big loss. No one's losing any sleep over that. The other thing that I would love to see Harbaugh lose again to Ohio State, and then I would, I'm actually a little bit of a Wisconsin fan, even though they're not the most exciting form of exciting style of play. But I think Ohio State, not that I'm an Ohio State fan, but they are good. They would have been right up there. Justin Fields, I'm a fan of. I'd like to see where they would kind of stack up with the other guys. To me, that is really the only loss. Fuck Penn State. I'm probably forgetting a team or two that would be decent this year, but the only thing for me, the major loss, Wisconsin would have been okay too, but they wouldn't have been top four at when it all was said and done. But Ohio State probably would have been there. So that's the thing for me. That's the only miss. But now Ryan Day comes out today and says he wants to start spring football in January. Dude, the season's over. Forget it. You missed it. It's over. It's done.
Right. And it's you're right. So the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Look, I grew up. I'm not saying everybody understands SEC is the best conference talent-wise that there is. But I grew up in New Jersey. Big Ten was the shit. I love the Big Ten. I like Big Ten football. I like the style, all that shit. So, but at today's day and age, all that matters, the only team that matters is Ohio State on the national level. Right. Other than that, the rest of the Nebraskas and the Purdues and the Northwestern.
Right.
And Iowa's, they're just playing for like a conference ran.
Even Michigan and Michigan State. I mean, Wisconsin would have been a top 10, maybe a top 17, but they were not.
But they're not even a playoff. They're not a top four.
No, correct. Right. That's correct.
So really, all we're missing is Ohio State out of that pack.
You know what? As we're talking, I'm disappointed. I'm not going to see what Shiana would get to do this first year for Rutgers. I was kind of, my girls and I have been up to Rutgers hoops games, and they were actually legitimate. They were going to be even better this year. And there's a little bit of a buzz. Lexi's getting older, looking at schools, colleges. Rutgers is a distant third, but certainly in there. So it'll be something to get excited about. And I like to see New Jersey get some love. So I'm disappointed in that. Just as we're talking, realizing what kind of bummed I am about just seeing what Rutgers could kind of. Not that they were looking at anything more than 4 wins. I just like to see some quality play and see what they would at least see if you get some type of optimism going on. So that's something I'm bummed about now that we're talking about it.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a shame. And look, for everybody out there that's like, oh, well, it's no big deal for the players. Think about it. Think about the players. It's a difficult situation. Obviously, you want what's safe and healthy and everything for everybody. But what if you're a junior? Some of these dudes, you don't get a really chance to shine until your senior year in college. Think about the money that Joe Burrow would have lost if he didn't play his senior year,
he conceivably not be in the NFL.
Right. Conceivably not be drafted instead of the number one overall pick in the NFL draft.
Right. And it's going to even if he sucks, it's going to turn into like $70-80 million. Marcus Mariota just signed an $8 million a season for a couple of years to be a backup after being a number one pick. That's amazing. And then, you can't even say, I like Justin Fields. He's not a prototypical Ohio State quarterback, not a prototypical, if let's say Clemson wasn't playing, Trevor Lawrence is going to be number one pick, you write it down now. But, you're talking about maybe this kid could try to play himself up into a Lamar Jackson, second, wannabe and get into a top 5 conversation, top 5 draft pick. And that now, listen, he'll probably still be drafted, but maybe it's the end of the first round. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's second round. If he comes out and balls out, Ohio State he starts throwing touchdown passes and drop back and dropping dimes. That kid, like he could be the number 2 quarterback coming off the board. So it sucks, man.
Right, and even just a year under Fields' belt, like you say, it's not the prototype. But let's say he comes out and really worked. He knows really his pocket passing is what's lacking, and comes out and in 1 year just shows a few steps forward in that direction. All of a sudden, he's a world beater.
Right, right. You're right to say, especially now with the Lamar Jacksons of the world, even we love Deshaun Watson too, and then even Prescott's kind of esque too, like that. But it cost him, and even there's some cornerback out there or a wide receiver or a tight end that's just getting ready to move into some type of offense, and maybe the quarterback is maturing on his team, and that's going to transition from even being drafted or not being drafted, or first round or second round, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't, it just sucks, and the argument too that I listen to, that I don't, you're not going to tell me that these kids are not safer and in a better situation and in that type of structured environment where they're going to be tested every day. People are going to be on them like crazy. Now they're going to go home or whatever they're going to do. And some of these places are going back to, some of these bad neighborhoods or something. Who knows what kind of structure is going on. And I don't know. There's no way to me, I don't see how it's an argument that's better for these kids not to play.
Right. Right. That whole just the structure of just the structure of being around the program with you got doctors and trainers,
nutritionists, right?
State of the art guys dealing with you every day on a one-to-one basis.
And people telling you, dude, don't do that. Put your mask on. What are you doing? Don't be fucking stupid. Yeah. Right. Meanwhile, you got people that why wearing a mask. Asshole.
Right. It's just unfortunate, man. But just chalk this up to another one of this fucking coronavirus bullshit situations. But let's face it, as a college football fan, look, we found out chalk another coronavirus shit up to thing. We found out basically our yearly guys trip is being put by the wayside this year. We were going to go see Auburn at Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
So I was watching just a little while ago. They had a replay on ESPNU of a Notre Dame at Georgia game. So I was like, man, look how man, it's just sea of red, crowd going fucking.
Oh hell yeah.
So it was going to be obviously Auburn at Georgia's huge game. And so chalk one more up to the coronavirus hitting us. But let's face it, as far as watching games at home, watching games on TV, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC.
Run down the team.
The best team's there. The best team in the country's there. Maybe Ohio State's got an argument. That's the only team that's got an argument. If they come out, however they figure out a playoff system with this, or a runoff, or a brackets, however they decide to do this shit, the best team in the country is in there.
No doubt. There's no doubt.
There's no sleepers in college football. You can't all of a sudden have a miracle season. You can do it in college basketball. You can do it in Major League Baseball or some other. In college football, the best teams are the best teams. There's a big upset here and there. There's on a Saturday, but the best teams are going to be playing football.
And it's not like years back in the day. If you had even, if somehow Clemson, we'll just use them as the best team, if they would stumble at NC State or something years ago, they would be almost knocked out. Now they could still get in as even the 4 seed and still beat, two of these better teams. So it's even now with the playoffs, it's really kind of really cream rises to the top. And if you look at those, Dabo came out today. Dabo Smitt said, "Listen, it's not diminished. Whoever wins this national championship this year is not diminished without the Pac-12 or the Big Ten." And I wholeheartedly agree with him. I mean, look, you got Clemson. If you want to even throw Notre Dame's got a huge fine, throw them in there. They'll probably be a top 10 team. Not that they're going to be a factor, but then you just run down the SEC teams: LSU,
go to
Bama, Auburn,
Oklahoma.
Georgia, Oklahoma. Yep. Right. Then there's the other one. Yep. And then you throw in even A&M. It's going to be tough games. Auburn, and always a tough team. Probably wouldn't be in the four either. But that's a gauntlet you're going to have to run to get there.
Right. So the best team is no doubt the best team is playing.
And even there's some upside in the ACC as well. There's teams getting better. I mean, I love it too because we're going to see how shitty Notre Dame really is when they lose to Virginia Tech, and then they barely beat NC State, and then Miami. They got to play Miami.
They don't get to have a week off and play Navy every other.
Right.
It seems like they
or Northwestern.
They have bye week. They play Navy, and then they have a bye week and play Air Force or something like that. It's like you're gonna have to. These conferences, you got to show up every week. You got to show up. Or next thing you know, you're 5-4. You don't know what the fuck happened to you.
Right. You're finished third in the ACC Coastal. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And kudos to BYU too for sticking too. That's an interesting thing too. I'm glad to see that they're in the ACC now too, I believe.
Oh, is that true? I didn't know.
I believe so. The only reason I thought that because Notre Dame cannot play Navy this year because it's a non-conference game, and BYU has replaced Navy on Notre Dame's schedule because it's technically quote unquote a conference game. So, which doesn't make much sense since that's all the way the other side of the country. So again, I'm not sure, but
kudos to the Mormons. Let them play football.
Hey, that's right. Let them play. Let them play.
Like,
brick by brick.
Bad News Bears and the Houston Astros.
Let them play. That's right. Goddamn right.
So, all right. So, I just want to before we move forward, we're going to get to the bubble basketball. We're going to get to Major League Baseball. Want to bring up Thrive Fantasy real quick. Thrive Fantasy. If you go on there, Thrive Fantasy app. It's not a porno site. It sounds a little bit like porn. Thrive Fantasy. I don't know. It sounds kind of weird. Use the promo code WagerMakers. One word, WagerMakers, and you put $20 in, and you get a $20 bonus. Webb, I've been playing with so Louisiana's not one of the places that are in it. So I've been playing some of these daily games with Scott Wheatley.
Oh yeah, how's he doing?
It's cool, dude. It's cool. I know you're not a fantasy man. This is not an all-year fantasy thing. It's daily. It's daily one-on-ones against other people for $100, $200, whatever you want to do against random people out there. And basically, there's like every day they do it for Major League Baseball. They do it for basketball, NBA. So we've been there's a list of NBA guys, and there's stats for each of them, and you pick over or under, and you pick your 5 starters over. It might say Pau Gasol 8.5 rebounds. So you say over or under. It might say, and you list your 5 or 6, and each one has a point value. You list your 5 or 6, and then some other random dude out there plays you for $100 and picks their 5 or 6.
And head up, and then whoever wins it's just a point basis, and whoever wins gets the money.
Yes.
That's cool.
And it's cool. So, and we've only scratched the surface with this thing. We're going to have somebody from Thrive Fantasy on here soon to kind of explain it a little further and tell you a little more in detail, but we've been having fun with it, man. We did pretty bad the first week. We lost a couple $100, but this last week we won a few in a row. So we're getting a hang of it. We're getting a hang of it.
Hey, that's right. Gotta get your toe. You gotta walk before you can run, Smitt.
All right. And also speaking of the money, I want to thank Gail Benson. I gave you a hard time for many, many weeks.
Oh, this is news.
The money came in.
Wow.
Check my credit card account. Clean. I had a credit on my credit card.
Wow, there you go. You made money.
I made the dinner for free.
Money. There you go.
So thank you, Gail Benson and the New Orleans Saints. I still hope you do well this year. I'm glad you gave me my money back from the season tickets that got swiped from me. So thank you very much. It took a while, but thank you very much.
Hey,
also,
you got it.
Speaking of Scott Wheatley, the last race of his horse. The Thoroughbred Report,
the Donnybrook
is the last race is this week at Monmouth Park, and guess who's in first place right now? Can you take it? I don't know. You guessed who I checked for number 58. Can you think of who maybe is in first place right now?
That's all right. Hey, you're in first place. That's all right. Good.
All right. So good. I'm in first place.
I will be there Sunday at some point as well, so I'll be there. I could give a live update from.
Cool, do it.
What's it called? The Pegasus, I think, right? Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus is the name of the race, I think.
Yeah,
I believe.
I'll be there.
So Scott sent me the race program just a little while ago. I'll have to take a look at that and pick some winners. Maybe I'll put my horses out on our Facebook page this time to let you know, just so you guys can get a little on action.
Money.
Yeah. My key this week is just not fucking pissing it away on the last week. It's fun to talk about number one, but if you lose in the last week, it kind of sucks. But there's also a dilemma. So
how many you're up by? I think you're only up by a couple points, right?
Let's see, a few maybe.
I think I'm only in fourth by 6 points, maybe not even. And Lexi's up there too.
I got I'm in first by 3 points. The guy in second's obviously 3 behind me, and then there's a couple guys. Lexi Weber is at 4 behind me, and then Scott's 5 behind me.
And I'm right there.
About eight behind. Eight behind.
I thought it was 6. All right, that's still doable. When I get
Lexi's
super
right
back.
there. Lexi's right there.
Yep.
So, but that brings up a dilemma. So we put out $200 towards the thing, and Scott put out $300 towards the thing. So there's 500 prize win money. Are we eligible? Are we eligible to win the money?
Fuck yeah! Ain't no fucking dilemma in my world.
All right, most as we become more legit businessmen in these things,
well, then we shouldn't be in it.
There's some of these things. There's some of these things like if you would be in some kind of contest, they usually say, listen, if you work for or you are affiliated.
Yeah, we didn't put that disclaimer out there. So
all right. Well, I wanted to throw that out there because I don't know what the protocol. It's kind of like, you ever had a fundraiser for somebody?
For the little league,
like 50-50.
Yeah. And
you're at this fundraiser for like maybe it's somebody who's sick or a kid's baseball team. Maybe you're sick or it's a kid's baseball team or something. And so you got this fundraiser and then you win the 50-50. You feel obligated to give the money back to the thing.
Right. You're a douchebag if you win, if you keep the money. You got to donate it to the Little League or the sick kid or whatever, the fucking Girl Scouts, whatever it is, right? You're better off not winning. Here's my $10 donation. I don't want anything.
That's
but
my
this is not that situation.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're seeing it my way. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'll clarify that real quick. No worries.
Fair enough. Well, one thing's for sure. If we win, I'll keep the $200 in our like slush in our account.
Right. There you go.
For future things like koozies and stuff.
Right. Koozies.
The next big prize. Hey, we got football coming up. We can do a pick'em. We can do survivor pools, all that kind of stuff.
Survivor for sure. Yep.
There's an intern bin on this shit.
I don't know what to do. I gotta have it.
Get a fantasy
league
going.
We might have to open it up. We have to open it up again, right? We should have We should have already had a poker tournament when we sponsored.
Right. All right. So moving on, NBA in the bubble. Webb, what do you think?
It's a little difficult to watch. I'm not a big fan of the guys with not their names on the back. That makes it a little bit harder for me. But listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that things come back a little back to normal when we get to the playoff action. In terms of who's winning and who's losing, hasn't been my wheelhouse or what are my hottest picks on the NBA. I'm not sure I don't know how the New Jersey Nets have won all these games. Phoenix Suns I thought would be okay. They're certainly motivated, but I didn't think they'd go 7-0 at this point. I beat the shit out of somebody yesterday and covered again. But I'm happy it's there, and I'm glad it's there. And I got a big kick out of that news today, man. That was hilarious.
Yeah, so I guess they're going to be letting like visitors in,
the playoffs,
close visitors, close relation visitors during the playoff time. I guess
they need to be yes. You have to have proof that it's a significant. I forget what the word was, the phrase.
Yeah,
but you have to have proof. If it's not a family, close. You have to have proof of a close relationship. That's exactly what it was.
And even said something like, "Cannot be somebody that you only know through social media."
Yeah. Cannot be someone who just delivers weed or just comes over for an hour or so, let's say. Right. Put it like that. So I think that's hilarious. And it just shows you what's going on. But you have to be quarantined, I think, for 4 to 7 days, I read.
Yeah.
So that
before they go in, I think they have to get tested and quarantined.
Maybe
it might have been 14 days or something, but
I think it's 7. And then it's
I think they keep them at another, like maybe there's another hotel, they keep those people in.
Yeah.
And before they bring them over to that one.
But then they're subject to the same testing. So it's not like, if you're there, you're getting tested like everybody else and the same type of protocol. So, which I don't know why that's big news at this point. I don't know, but it's funny how that came out. I think maybe that's just a little kind of a goof thing, but that was hilarious. That's after talking about how the weed guy and everybody was getting in and out of the bubble there. So,
right. So we definitely have been struggling with the picks in the bubble. I would say that's fair to say that we've been struggling in the picks in the bubble, but because there's so many teams that some of them aren't playing for anything at this point with these 8 games. Some of them are. Some guys are resting, going. I mean, it's eight games, man. I'm a little perplexed at that stuff, but hey, I guess they've been load managing all year long, and the playoffs are when the real shit happens. I guess the guys are going to be playing more for real. Maybe our picks will be a little more solid on the NBA once the games are playoff games. I'm hoping, but guys got
solid in the first week. Yeah, but Kawhi will sit down for. I mean, we did all right, and then I can't. Like I said, the New Jersey Nets. I don't know that they have a solid 5 guys, more than 4 or 5 guys that would be on their roster, had it not been for guys opting out. The majority of their team, the better players on their team, I think opted out. I don't know how they're winning any games. They weren't even that good before. They're better now than they were before, and I don't know, the Bucks are losing games by 30. Some teams are scoring 75 points in a quarter. It's just bizarre. I don't know what's going on. So I'm actually arm's length with the NBA at this point. I'm hoping things will change within the next week.
We've definitely laid off the last few weeks and just see how this plays last few days and just see how this plays out going into the playoffs. But
it's not even like you could say, okay, let's take the dog every time. It's not even like that. It's just all over there. There's no rhyme or reason. In either direction, anyway.
The Brooklyn Nets are playing with basically nobody. They're like world beaters,
right?
World beaters.
I'm telling you, they don't got this. There's going to be on the team that's right now. There's going to be 4 or 5 guys this time or whatever. Come training camp next year, that'll make the team that are on the team right now that are like 7-1 or 6-1, whatever it is.
Right. So, I want to just before we go too much further, just I feel the need to touch on the topic of the New Orleans Pelicans for a second. We talked about at length about how the NBA made up rules for them to get in. They made up rules for them to get into the bubble. They made up rules for them to get into the playoffs.
They sure did.
Where the Pelicans at? Okay, well the line is right behind them.
Right underneath.
Okay, what's the rule? Well, if you get within 4 games of the 8th seed, you get to play a little tiny playoff to see who gets in the playoffs. Okay, great. Where are the Pelicans at? 3.5 back. Okay, great. All these rules so that Zion could be there, so that the bubble, the Pelicans, everything you could possibly do to set it up to have the Lakers and Anthony Davis play against the Pelicans in the first round of playoffs.
They put it on a tee for them. Literally, they just teed it up, win a couple of games, and you'll be fine. We'll take care of you. Get us that game 1. That's all that matters. That first game, TNT, 8:00, whatever it is, Friday night. Nope.
And what do the Pelicans do? What do the Pelicans do? They show up and they lay an absolute fucking egg in this fucking bubble.
Oh, embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing.
Yep.
They show up the first night, like they go up double digits against the Jazz. Double digits. You're like, oh man, Pelicans are fucking rolling. This is it. They're going to make the playoffs.
It's just easy, right? They're going to fight for 7. There'll be 7.
Piss away the double digit lead. Lose by 2 to the Jazz.
Yep.
Game 2. Play the Clippers. You're like, all right, that was a tough game, but they're playing good ball.
Right.
It's going to be obviously the Clippers going to be tough. They walk out and they don't even show up to the fucking Clippers game. They were down by double digits before the game at the tip-off.
And it's not like the Clippers were playing anybody. The Montreal Harrell was gone. The other they didn't have anybody either. And they weren't playing for shit anyhow. They weren't doing nothing.
So then you move on to Game 3's Memphis. That's the team they're trying to get to.
Right.
They showed up and they won by 10. All right, great. Okay, all right, cool. We got them 2 tough games behind us. Let's move on. And then they went on for the rest of the bubble. They beat the Wizards once, and then they lost to everybody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes Zion only played limited minutes. The first game they lost by 2 points. He played limited minutes. He left the bubble for a little over a week.
Right.
He's 20 years old. Limited minutes. You want him to get better? Make him play in games that matter. This is it. right now. 8 fucking games.
Literally playoffs. Yeah. It's like playing after Labor Day in baseball, and sitting your best pitcher down and not letting them pitch in a pennant run.
I mean, where was he staying for 10 days? In the Krispy Kreme? Did he forget in 10 days how to play basketball?
Best player on the team. But listen, I got it. I don't know what he played. 15 minutes that first game only? Dude, 0 rebounds. How can you not get a rebound?
How does a dude that size
bounce to you? Right. Just stand by the rim.
Right. If we played 15 minutes in a basketball game, NBA, we would get a rebound just on a ricochet.
Right. Just by standing there. Right.
Right.
The dude in the front row gets a ball.
Just by hanging by the block.
Right. Just stand there. Right.
It's by a bad bounce. 2 guys jump up and tip it, and then ends up.
Right. Got it. I'm in stat sheet.
Like that.
Right. That's right. Look at me. Foul me.
And we probably throw away the outlet pass, but
right, no doubt.
Right. So, okay, that brings me to Alvin Gentry. This dude, if he ain't gone at the end of this thing, there is no hope for the Pelicans. No hope. And that I want to bring up we had a great question from Quentin Ross on the Wager Makers Talk group. And he asked who would be a good replacement for Gentry. And I'm not so sure about that. I know you love the guy Thibodeau that I think the Knicks just got a little while ago. Yeah, that's something that we can talk about further some other day. We'll do a little research on that. But what I do know is the best coach for the Pelicans is in the bubble. And he was there before Alvin Gentry.
And Monty Williams.
And his team is the hottest team in the bubble. They have not lost a game in the bubble.
Yeah. That's a name I was going to bring up, but he ain't leaving. They ain't getting rid of him.
He's not coming here. But his team is about to go to the playoffs.
And pay him, man. They're going to pay his ass. They ain't letting him go.
So Monty Williams, in case anybody out there doesn't realize, he was the coach of the Pelicans when Anthony for several years. They usually made the playoffs but didn't go too far. That's just what the Pelicans are at that point, So they finally get Anthony Davis. They make Anthony Davis's rookie year. They make the playoffs. They get the 8th seed. They play the Golden State Warriors when the Golden State's really in their prime. I mean, Golden State ran on and won the championship that year in no problem. But they lost
from before KD was on the team, wasn't it?
What's that?
That was before Durant was even on the team, I think. That was their first.
Oh, yeah, right. Probably was. So, they lose 4 straight to Golden State, but every game is I was at a couple of those games here. Every game was a game.
Right.
The Pelicans didn't get blown out. They didn't get just Golden State was better.
Right. And very good. Right.
Every game going into the fourth quarter was within 5-8 points. It was a ball game. None of the games were blowouts. And Anthony Davis and Monty Williams learned under Popovich in San Antonio. That's where he learned that coaching. He's a defensive-minded guy. Dell Demps wanted to bring in an offensive guy, so they bring the assistant coach from Golden State. The first thing Gentry does when he gets here is says, "Oh man, Anthony Davis is going to do a lot more stuff outside. You'll be seeing him shoot threes and everything." I knew it was over. It was over right then. He this dude ain't Steph Curry, and I know we've been hard on it. We've been hard on Anthony Davis, but the dude's a great player. I'm not. We've been critical of him, but the guy's a great player. But Monty Williams would have been better. Monty Williams, Tim Duncan.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a different mindset. It's a different outlook. And they did a good job under Monty Williams, but he brings them to the playoffs. They lose in the first round. They go to Gentry. He wins one playoff series the whole time he's here. Most of the time, never. I mean, he might have went to the playoffs twice the times he was here. I don't know for sure. But I mean, just garbage.
I agree.
And the only reason I'll give this shout out to Brad Bohannon. He said this early in the season. He said the only reason that the GM would keep Gentry around for this year is to have a scapegoat at the end of the year when he had all these picks and we got Zion and all this stuff. Keep Gentry around for one more year. That way, if things go bad, you just get rid of him and you act like that was the reason.
Yeah, but he's got a real great. That's Griffith is the right. Griffith is the GM. He's got a real good reputation. He's supposed to be the savior. He's the one that's supposed to turn it around. So
they have some young play. They have some young talent, but I think that was a pretty good analysis that you don't think of. That maybe he kept them around just in case things imploded this year. which they did in this bubble.
Right, they did. They did.
It doesn't get worse. How you're an NBA coach and you show up, you got 8 games. You got 8 games and a young team, and you don't show up to 8 games? Come on, man. Your team didn't show up for 8 fucking games.
No, they can't get up for that. What can you get up for?
Game season.
Yep.
This dude, and you see a press conference, he looks more stoned than Brandon Ingram when he fucking does a press conference. His eyes are red, his slurred speech, everything.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Damn time, but he's kind of smooth out there. The coach looks stoned.
Right. Well, Brandon Ingram is stoned. That's all right.
Hey, it's NBA. I don't know.
Right.
No. But so I mean, man, I truly believe. And look, we wouldn't even be in if Monty Williams stayed with the Pelicans with Anthony Davis. We wouldn't have been all in this Zion mess at this point because he would have brought Anthony Davis.
Right. He would have stayed. Anthony Davis would be on the team. Right.
All right, I'm done with my rant. Fire Gentry.
That's an easy one to get behind.
Send me emails and shit about. Are you ready to renew your fucking season tickets for the NBA?
You better wait a week.
Yeah, give me a minute. All right. So we've been struggling. We've been struggling a little bit in the bubble. I think it'll be better when we get to the playoffs. Teams will be showing up every night.
Yeah, and some of these teams will be gone. Right, exactly. I agree totally.
All right. So at first I was freaked out by the virtual NBA fans. You see them sitting there in the stands, and they're like shit like that. At first I was freaked out about it, but now I kind of like it.
It does take a minute to get used to it. It's a little bizarre at first, for sure.
All right. Baseball's rolling right along. Webb, you see anybody standing out to you in Major League Baseball?
It's more the teams like the Nationals suck. Pittsburgh, I think, is horrible. There's just a couple teams that really suck. There's teams I'm liking the Twins. I knew the Yankees were going to be good. I think I'm a little disappointed in how the Dodgers. I thought they'd be a little bit more dominant, and I'm surprised the Astros have struggled a little bit. Not that I'm upset about it or anything, but I thought they'd be a little stronger. Mets are the Mets. It's always some fucking fiasco with that. So it's kind of we kind of what we thought. I'm happy we did pick the White Sox. They seem like they're doing okay. They could kind of sneak in there. And then my Rays are starting to finally find some offense. And if they can do that, I think they're going to be very, very tough as well. So we're kind of where we thought we'd be, with the exception of some teams being a lot worse, I think. And Baltimore's better than we thought. I thought they were.
The Rays actually played a pretty good series this week against the Yankees. Really kind of came around after struggling a little bit early. Surprised, like you say, about the Nationals, the defending champs, really not much pop in their bat. Not much, I guess, with Strasburg out, and Scherzer's been a little banged up. They're struggling.
Soto's back, though, I think. He hit a bomb. He hit one almost out of Citi Field today. So I think maybe that hurt.
The Mets have a tendency to make your team look a little better.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how the more things change, the more things stay the same. They can't stay out of their own way.
My new adopted team is starting to struggle a little bit. The Marlins, they ran into a couple.
They're gonna. Games, so they're gonna fall like a brick.
Short season, they're 7-4. Maybe they're still right there. But man, if they tank another series, we might be in trouble real soon. Yeah. One thing for sure, the Astros with no Cole, no Verlander, and no cheating equals fucking mediocre. That's best.
They have been hurt. They have been hurt.
Verlander and be something, but the Astros are very, very mediocre at this point. So
right. Yep. Sure.
All right.
It's weird. Like the teams like the fucking Angels, never good. Like a team like the Angels, I'm waiting for them to be. They're just never good. They can't do it. Mike Trout, I feel bad for it. I mean, not his bank account, but that team just sucks too. It's Padres are a surprise too. They're fun to watch.
Padres are for real. They're giving the Dodgers, even this week, they're giving the Dodgers every bit they can handle.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And fun, good team, good young team to watch, scrappy. Yep. And good ball players on there. Definitely solid. So and even speaking of your boy Trout, they even got the guy from the Nationals, Rendon, right?
Oh yeah, but
he was
hurt.
They just don't have the pitching on the Angels.
No, I think Rendon was hurt though too. I think he's getting back to like Soto.
He had a home run today, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
So all right. So moving on. So NFL moving along. It was announced today in New Orleans that
the NFL.
The Saints game. All right. The Saints game would be Saints game would be played with no fans. Also, their game in Las Vegas would be no fans. But Jerry Jones comes out today and says, "Hey, they're moving along, fans and all. No bullshit." He says everybody can make their own decision for themselves.
Gotta love Jerry Jones. Gotta love Jerry Jones. I'm playing out. Cowboys gonna play their games with fans. I know what everybody else is gonna do. The Dallas Cowboys are gonna have fans. It's the fucking greatest thing in the world. I don't know how he could even say that with a straight face, but he does, and I believe him. What am I going to do? Not what I'm going to doubt him. You see where he was for the draft? Did you see the side? I mean, how can you tell him no? So it's just funny. I'm just glad to see that at least they're talking like they're even if at least they're lying to us well. If this is how it's going to play out the season, they're playing the game, and I'm buying what they're selling at this point. So let's fucking kick it off.
Dig it. Let's kick it off. The Saints moved their players into a bubble. That's one thing I want to bring up. So they moved all the players into a hotel downtown, but also the NFL should be watching what the NBA has done and what the NHL has done, and
Smitt, NHL
done
zero.
Too.
NHL 0 positive tests. Zero, not one the entire time.
The bubble
not
is
one the entire time. That's fucking. That's impressive. Not one positive test, and I mean it's been a while. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been longer than any place else has have a positive test. The Cowboys are doing a bubble too, I think, actually.
NFL, if you're listening, the bubble is the way to go.
Yeah,
gotta wrap that thing up, bro. Prophylactic condom. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only short thing. It's the only short thing.
MLB should do that for the playoffs too. Just have it wherever. Have it. We can't have it in New York because it's too cold. Have it out. I mean, how far is Dodger Stadium from Anaheim, where the Angels play, or whatever? I mean,
worry about that. They got dome baseball.
You need a couple of stadiums. If you got a couple of stadiums close, it would work in New York, which you would at Citi Field and Yankee Stadium. It's a 20-minute ride, or so you could have teams stay in the middle and teams play different places, but it's gonna be too cold.
Well, you got LA, San Diego, that area.
Yeah, but that's far, I think. I don't know how far from Dodger Stadium is to but again, just go back to the pre-spring training idea. Have it in Arizona or Florida. Just bubble it up. They're doing the bubbles working in Florida for the NBA. Just bubble up.
Yeah, one of these training camps, where the Grapefruit League or whatever the hell they call that shit.
Yeah. The Cactus League or the Grapefruit League. Just put it in a bubble. Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you look at? I took our Rangers obviously crapped out. We talked about taking the Rangers in the NHL and having them go all the way. I do have a little futures bet on the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're playing pretty good so far. They ended up with the number 1 slot, and they won 4-1. I think it was the final score in their first playoff game.
Yeah, they look good. That was against against Chicago. That's one of the lower teams that's in the playoffs. Vegas does look good. The goalie didn't really get tested. I don't know how good he's going to turn out to be, but they do have what's his name, LaFleur, whatever the dude from the Penguins on the bench, who's won a couple of cups. So I think they're okay. I think they're going to be there. I got some money on the Bruins. A little bit money on the Stars in the West, and then the Lightning are my other team as well. So I got a couple of teams out there just to keep the action flowing. But I'll tell you, Smitt, that playoff hockey is phenomenal, dude. The overtime, it's everything. It's every shot. It's like, oh, it's fucking great.
How many overtimes they went yesterday? 5 overtimes?
I had the Lightning. Yep, I had the Lightning. I got him in the series. I had him for the game, and I got him to win it all. So yeah, it was great. It's awesome. It's awesome. And even today, that game, I couldn't believe it went to overtime again today.
Unbelievable. So yeah, it's been good stuff. I watched it today. I watched the Bruins. We had the Bruins against over Carolina. So games going, but I'm digging it, Webb. We got the bubble. We got hoops. We got sports. We complained a long time about not having sports. We got sports, Webb.
Oh, I'm all in. I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's a lot of sports on. There's sports starts early, and it's often there's even. I mean,
every day, noon, 1 o'clock.
Four games a day, and I'm even dabbling with the tennis. I got Serena versus Venus tomorrow. We got golf kicking off tomorrow. We got our MMAs on Saturday. There's a bunch of. We got Scott Wheatley's Donnybrook. There's a bunch of good shit happening. Lots of good gambling. Our KBO, our little adopted son KBO, just went the wayside. It just couldn't keep up. And we were killing it there for a while. I
almost feel bad for KBO. Yeah, because we were pumping that shit up. But once the American shit started, we just look. I can't be up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, it's just hard.
There's a plethora of shit to lose monty on.
Exactly.
You were doing good on it, but not so good that I'm going to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. But I'm not going to bet 20 games a day.
We do that. Exactly.
Not Sunday and behind. Not nothing Sunday and behind.
Exactly. Right. Well, then there's no KB Sunday that which is a doubt. You couldn't even get even or even below what you're up. But two of my favorite bets in the world are back, Smitt. No runs in the first inning is one of my all-time favorites, and then my close second, up there is over 1.5 goals in the first period of hockey games. Those two of my first bets. They're almost ascended in almost every game, so I'm completely entertained from the majority of the day and loving every minute of it. So.
I gotta say, I'm digging life right now with this stuff. There's plenty of bullshit going on around us, but as long as I got no dudes little MLB thing on my phone. I'm watching games. I got shit, so I'm good to go. So, all right, yeah. Speaking of golf, though, we've even been playing some golf. Our buddy DeChambeau had another little incident last week, Webb. He had to pull an official over and asked to move his ball because he had ants by it. So that
ants did. What a fucking dick! I can't stand that guy. I don't know what he just. I think he likes it though. I think whatever it's like. That's no publicity is bad. But at least they're talking about, even if they're talking bad, they're talking about me type thing. So I don't know. I don't like him. I'm rooting against him. But I'm glad to be. I'll bet against him. Whatever.
It's so funny. Just for this last 2 months of starting to watch golf again, I had no idea who this guy was, but they were talking about this dude the whole time, every golf tournament, to the point where I couldn't stand him. And now it just turns out he's an asshole. Right. So it's even great. Yeah. I hate his guts now. I don't even know nothing about him. Hate him. Hate his guts.
Around. Yeah, like his thing was he was like this crazy. He doesn't cut every club's the same length. That's when he came on the scene. That's why he was talked about. And then this year was how he transformed his body, whatever.
He's an athlete. He worked out. I don't know what's the deal.
Good for fucking him.
Right. All right. So what else? What are we missing from this week? That's kind of wraps up. It seems like it's been a long time since our last show. So we had a lot of stuff.
I missed
a lot of stuff, but then some of it isn't even pertinent. And it's
relevant. It goes away.
And it's hard to. I'm watching right now too. If you get a chance to watch Manute Bol's son, Bol, dude is a beast.
He's good.
He's tall and lanky, but he's got game. Like he's shooting threes. He's dribbling through his legs, bringing the ball up the court. It's unbelievable. Right now, he's D'ing up a dude on the point. Oh, he
plays all over. Yeah.
So.
I just say some news here. Everson Griffin just signed a 1-year deal with the Cowboys. That's some news. Defensive end rather.
There you go.
That's big. That's big for the boys. Nice.
Well, he probably found out he's got some fans. He's going to have some fans to play in front of.
Yes.
He's like, who's got fans? I want to go to that team.
That fucking yacht had the girl hold the phone for him when he talked. That's what it was.
Well, we've been in that stadium before. You can spread some motherfuckers out.
Hell yeah.
They got a couple. You can, yeah. I think he said he's going to have at least 40,000 in there. But between all the bars, you can spread shit out all over the place in there.
Yeah, that's like a town. Yeah, no doubt.
We only spent 12 minutes in our seat.
We walked up and left out. Fuck this.
We got the national anthem, then we headed for some Maker's Mark. That was it.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. Fucking awesome.
That was the day I wore my Jason Witten jersey for you.
Damn right it was.
All right. So just a reminder, everybody, thrivefantasy.com, and make sure you do Wager Makers as the promo code. Dude, I got some good news for you. My boys C Really and what the fuck's the other? Dude, I got my rapper buddies are gonna make us a Wager Maker song.
Yeah. Oh, love it. Love it.
Damn. C Really and the Goat. Lil Goat. Damn, what the fuck's his name? The Saint, Lil Goat. I don't know, something like that. I'll get, man. Chris is gonna be pissed at me for not knowing his name. So, yeah, C Really and Lil Goat is gonna make us a Wager Maker rap. You're gonna Wager Maker rap. And I want to thank Doc Bumper Music, Wilbur Investigations. If you guys anything in the Monmouth County area and you need a little investigation, want to check out some bank fraud, maybe a little bounce check, something like that.
Fraud.
Them out. Yeah. Maybe you think your old lady might be running around a little bit, scanting around town. Give them a call. Wilbur Investigations. Don't forget TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, SportsWatchMonitor.com. You can buy some of our picks on there. Check us out at the Facebook, The Wager Makers Podcast, Twitter at The Wager Makers, Instagram at The Wager Makers. Email us at TheWagerMakers@gmail.com. Check out our Facebook page and our group talk, Wager Makers Talk. And the
website.
What's that? And the website.
WagerMakers.com.
TheWagerMakers.com. You can check out our videos on there. YouTube. Devin's going to tell you about YouTube right now.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video.
Thank you, Devin. And all right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. That was number 58. We'll be back talking about number 59 next week and have some more news for you. Thank you so much for listening. Tell some friends, tell some people, share this shit. We'd appreciate it. Webb, take us out.
Brick by brick, baby. Thanks everybody for listening. Yes, please tell a friend. It's time to take this thing to the next level. Let's really get it going here. Thank you everyone for listening. Next week we'll get deeper into the NHL playoffs. We'll hold it down. We'll give you a pick on each side. We'll give you the championship games and then a final. And then also same with the NBA. NBA playoffs will be kicked off. We'll come in strong with that as well. And again, brick by brick. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks Thrive Sports and thanks Will Burr and everybody else. Talk to you soon. Miss you guys. We will be back this time next week.
Cool.